Last month's release of Mario Party 10 has solidified the franchise's title as the longest-running minigame series in video game history. So what better way to celebrate than to look back at the minigames that made this series so great? Here are the best Mario Party minigames of all time. Hot Rope Jump. Even if you didn't play Mario Party, Hot Rope Jump is probably familiar to you because it was in the first Mario Party commercial. The premise is simple. The jump rope is on fire, and as the game goes, the speed picks up. Avoid getting burned, and you will reign victorious over your scorched friends. Is it just me, or did the center players seem to have a slight advantage over the guys on the outside? Shy Guy Says. Everybody knows that the very best minigames were in the first Mario Party. In Shy Guy Says, all the players are hanging from ropes off the back of Captain Shy Guy's pirate ship. The game is very straightforward. Just raise either the red or white flag depending on what Shy Guy tells you to do. If you raise the correct flag, your life will be spared. If you raise the incorrect flag, he cuts you loose to swim with the sharks. Bumper balls. There's just something so evil and gratifying in Mario Party about pushing your opponents off of a floating platform, which is exactly what you do in Bumper Balls. Let me say that this is probably the first minigame in Mario Party history to utilize the pushing your opponents off of a floating platform theme. Facelift. Hello! Remember the opening screen in Super Mario 64 with Mario's floating head that you could stretch and distort? I used to get stuck on that screen for a solid 5 to 10 minutes every time I loaded up the game. So not surprisingly, they took that concept and turned it into a minigame where you could challenge your friends. At the start of the match, you are shown a distorted version of Bowser's face. You then have to try your hardest to reproduce it using the same grabby hand tool in Super Mario 64. The player who is closest to replicating the image shown wins. LOONEY Lumberjack. LOONEY Lumberjack is a 2v2 minigame in which you and your teammate must saw through your log faster than the rival team. You would think this game is easy, A to pull one way, B to push the other. But the tricky part is that A and B don't always alternate back and forth, so instead it's a stress-inducing mind game of A, B, A, B, A. And because of that, this is the most frustrated two-button gaming experience I've had to date. Sneak and Snore. For some reason, you and the rest of your party are imprisoned with a vicious chain chomp. Escape the chamber by stepping on the switch to open the doorway in your lane, and then inch back to the doorway to get out. But beware when the chain chomp wakes up. If you're not quick enough to hide in your barrel, you'll get snatched up and sent down the pipes. Why is chain chomp so scary? EATZA Pizza. This minigame is amazing and perfect for obviously delicious reasons. Am I the only one who gets hungry at the sight of virtual food? In EATZA Pizza, you and the other players are dropped onto a gigantic pizza. The player who eats the most pizza wins. This would also be a great yet very greasy in real life contest. Challenge accepted. Stamp Out. Each player rides a stamp around the map in an attempt to cover as much of the floor in their color as possible. Of course, no one is going to stay in their quadrant of the map and play politely. In fact, throw politeness out the window. This minigame invites you to troll your rivals by covering their colors with yours. Speaking of, who's ready for Splatoon? Dungeon Duos. There aren't very many minigames in Mario Party 4 that don't recycle the ideas of the minigames in the previous 3 titles. So there is only one minigame that really stands out to me, and that is Dungeon Duos. In this co-op mission to escape the dungeon, you and your teammate are separated by a wall. Together, you must work cooperatively to escape by pushing buttons to open doors, jump on rotating platforms, and eventually mash L and R really fast to blow up your getaway balloon. I don't know about you guys, but all of my controllers seriously suffered from all the extreme button mashing in the Mario Party games. But it wouldn't be Mario Party without it, right? Revolving Fire. Revolving Fire is a 1v3 minigame in which one player controls a 3-spouted, spinning fire spitter of doom in the center of a platform that happens to be floating over molten lava. Now that I put it like that, it really amazes me this level is entitled something more extreme like Lava Torture Chamber, or something more clever to describe its violent nature. As player 1 gets to laugh in amusement, the other 3 players are left to scramble around for their lives. GRANITE Getaway. Does anyone remember that scene in Indiana Jones where he's running away from the gigantic boulder? Well, that's exactly how you'll feel in GRANITE Getaway. In this game of survival of the fittest, you must avoid all obstacles by jumping over them to not get crushed. Don't trip, or you'll fall behind and you'll get squished. FUNSTACLE Course. Bowser is one psychotic turtle. Seriously, his idea of a fun obstacle course is one where Koopa kids chase you down floating platforms over lava. Actually, everything happens over lava. It raises the stakes. You're then encountered by spinies, thwomps, and as soon as you almost make it to safety, those same Koopa kids start spitting fire at you. Meanwhile, our demented evil reptilian friend is just sitting in the back laughing. Oh Bowser, how do you manage to be more evil than so many of gaming's other villains? Breakneck building. Everyone can agree that Mario Party 8 was pretty bad. Endless dialogue and subpar graphics coupled with so many awkward minigames that didn't really take full advantage of the Wiimote made for a pretty mediocre gaming experience. However, a few minigames did do it right. In Breakneck Building, you go through a series of tasks that require you to use the Wiimote differently. You must saw the logs, then hammer them together, and then paint the panel to complete the game. It's actually a pretty creative application of the Wiimote. Goomba Bowling. There's nothing that special about Goomba Bowling other than the sweet feeling of satisfaction you'll get from knocking out 20 Goombas in a row. It's like Wii Bowling, but way better. And finally, all the games in Bowser Party Mode. Don't get it twisted, Bowser is the one true star in Mario Party 10. The Bowser Party game mode is hands down the most fun to play with friends, and you can even play with up to 5. You and your friends are never pitted against each other. Instead, you work cooperatively to outsmart or simply just survive the wrath of Bowser. You'll have just as much fun, if not more, trolling your friends as Bowser. And that concludes my list of the most memorable Mario Party minigames. This list was actually pretty hard for me to compile as I had to select from so many great games and also so many games that looked exactly the same. So what games did I miss and which ones did you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe. And you can always catch up with us at usgamer.net.